The iPhone SE is Apple's unique strategy to the mid-range smartphone. Usually, most mid-range smartphones have to compromise on specs, build, and cameras. But the iPhone SE just reuses an older iPhone design and throws in more modern internals. The only thing is that the design that Apple is currently using for the iPhone SE is the same as the previous gen, which is the same as the iPhone 8 from 6 years ago, which is derived from the iPhone 6 design from almost 10 years ago. The design is still great, and the iPhone SE is still faster than most other mid-range smartphones for the same price, but it's very dated. But the next iPhone SE is going to change all of that. First, the design. But before that, when I talk about the design of this phone, you'll probably think it's ridiculous and it has to be made up by an unreliable source. This info is coming from Marco, aka Unknowns21. He is perhaps one of the most reliable Apple leakers right now. He shared this image of the iPhone 15 Pro with the USB-C port 7 months ahead of launch, and he shared the same for the regular iPhone 15 as well. He was also the first to share the blue titanium and natural titanium colors for the iPhone 15 Pro months ahead of release, and just so many more extremely accurate leaks. So when I say this information about the iPhone SE4 design, just know that this is coming from a very reliable source. The iPhone SE3 is based on the iPhone 8 design right now, but the iPhone SE4 is now going to be based on the iPhone 14 design. Yes, you heard me right, the iPhone 14. This means the iPhone SE will be getting the flat design that started with the iPhone 12. It'll be getting a much larger 6.1-inch display. It'll be getting Face ID with a notch. It'll be getting MagSafe and so much more. But unlike the iPhone 14, it'll not have a Lightning port. Instead, the iPhone SE will now feature a USB-C port. This is obviously to comply with the EU regulations. But also, the iPhone SE4 will also change the camera design from the iPhone 14. Instead of using the dual cameras from the iPhone 14, it will only have a single camera, just like the current iPhone SE. But even though this is a single camera, it's apparently going to be the same one from the iPhone 15, meaning it'll be a 48 megapixel sensor. This means it'll also replicate the effect of a 2x telephoto camera, just like the iPhone 15. Yeah, this is a massive step forward for the iPhone SE, and again, if you doubt this, remember who it's coming from. Next, the chip. The iPhone SE has always been about using the same chip as the flagship iPhone, but there's been some conflicting rumors surrounding the release of this device. So it may be the A16 Bionic from the iPhone 15, or the A18 Bionic that'll be in the iPhone 16, and you'll see why in a second. Next, battery. Constantly the weakest point of the iPhone SE. Every model has had terrible battery life. I've owned every model, and they've all had terrible battery life. The iPhone SE4 is finally going to turn that around. The iPhone SE4 will feature the same battery as the iPhone 14 at 3,279 mAh. Compared to the 2018 mAh battery of the iPhone SE3, that's over 60% more battery capacity. Combined with the improved efficiency of the new chip, this thing will be a massive leap forward for iPhone SE battery. For release, as I alluded to earlier, we've heard conflicting reports about release. Unknowns21, who first shared these rumors, says spring of 2025, but Mark Gurman, who is hands down the most accurate Apple analyst, says this spring 2024, although that was a few months ago and that may have changed. One thing that supports Gurman's answer of this year is the EU regulations mandating December 28th that all mobile devices will feature a USB-C port. But Apple could get around this by killing the current iPhone SE altogether and releasing the SE4 a few months later. Or maybe Apple may introduce the iPhone SE4 alongside the iPhone 16. We don't know exactly what the plan is for the iPhone SE4's release. As for the price, again, we don't know the exact price of the iPhone SE4, but I'm personally thinking $499 or $529 given all these upgrades. So that's what we know so far about the iPhone SE4. With everything we've heard, this may be one of the biggest and most important iPhone releases we've had in years.